Julia loved old things, objects with stories to tell. One rainy Saturday, she found herself drawn to a dusty antique shop tucked away on a side street. The musty air smelled of forgotten times. It felt like stepping into the past. Her eyes wandered over chipped china dolls and faded tapestries. Then she saw it. A beautiful, ornate mirror tucked in a shadowy corner. Its silver frame was tarnished, but the glass itself was crystal clear. It called to her. Julia ran a fingertip over the cool surface. A shiver danced down her spine. An odd energy pulsed from the mirror. She had to have it. The shopkeeper, a frail old man, seemed hesitant to part with it, but finally he relented. As Julia carried the heavy mirror home, she couldn't shake the feeling that she hadn't chosen it. The mirror had chosen her. The mirror took center stage in Julia's living room. Its presence filled the room. Sometimes late at night, Julia thought she heard things, faint whispers, like the rustle of silk. She dismissed it as her imagination. One evening, as she sat reading by the fireplace, the whisper came again. Clearer this time. Her name. Julia, the voice breathed, a hushed, mournful sound. Julia froze, her blood turning to ice. She was alone in the house. The whispers continued night after night. Always her name, always mournful. Fear twisted in her gut, yet a strange curiosity kept her from covering the mirror. She had to know who was whispering to her from its depths. One night, the whispers escalated. The mirror's surface rippled like water. Terror choked Julia. She couldn't look away. A face began to form in the rippling glass. A young woman with tear-stained cheeks and pleading eyes. The woman's lips moved silently, forming the words, "Help me?" Julia stumbled back, her heart pounding against her ribs. The vision vanished as quickly as it appeared. The mirror was still again, as if nothing had happened. Julia's fear was now laced with a deep, unsettling pity for the woman trapped within the glass. Who was she, and what torment kept her tethered to the mirror? Driven by a need to understand, Julia delved into the history of the antique shop. The shopkeeper, Mr. Hemmings, vaguely recalled the mirror coming from a deceased estate sale. He directed her to the local historical society. Hours turned into days as Julia pored over old newspapers and dusty records. Finally, she stumbled upon a chilling article. The vanishing of Eliza Walker, a young woman who disappeared without a trace exactly a century ago. The article described Eliza's beauty, her kindness, and her love for a silver hand mirror, a family heirloom. The description matched Julia's mirror perfectly. The newspaper clipping included a sketch of Eliza, her face a mirror image of the ghostly apparition Julia had seen. Section 5. A Century of Sorrow. Further research revealed a tale of forbidden love and betrayal. Eliza Walker and a young man from the wrong side of the tracks had fallen deeply in love, but their families disapproved. One stormy night, Eliza vanished. Her lover was the prime suspect, accused of her murder. He maintained his innocence, swearing he last saw Eliza clutching her silver mirror, her face stained with tears, but his pleas fell on deaf ears. He was convicted and died in prison, his name forever tarnished. Julia believed him. She felt Eliza's sorrow, her desperation. Trapped within the mirror, unable to tell her story, to clear her lover's name. A century of silent suffering. Julia knew what she had to do. She had to help Eliza find peace. Section 6. A Seance for the Lost Soul. Julia arranged a seance. The air crackled with anticipation as she lit candles and placed Eliza's mirror in the center of the room. She closed her eyes, summoning Eliza's spirit. The room grew cold. "Eliza!" Julia whispered, her voice trembling slightly. "I know you're there. I know your story. You are heard. Your love is remembered. It's time to let go." The mirror's surface swirled. Eliza's image reappeared, clearer this time. Her eyes, though filled with sadness, held a glimmer of hope. Julia's heart ached for her. She reached out, her hand hovering over the glass. Section 7. Breaking the mirror's chains. "Eliza," Julia continued, her voice firm despite her fear, "you are not bound to this mirror. Your love transcends death. Go to him, Eliza. Find peace." As if in response, the air shimmered. A soft, luminous figure began to emerge from the mirror, taking the shape of Eliza. Her eyes, no longer filled with sorrow, met Julia's with gratitude. The room was filled with a sudden gust of wind, extinguishing the candles and plunging the room into darkness. Julia gasped, her heart pounding. She stood frozen, fear momentarily paralyzing her. Section 8. The Release. When the silence settled and Julia dared to light a match, the room was empty. Eliza was gone. The mirror, no longer a source of dread, sat serenely on the table. It was just a mirror now, its surface reflecting the flickering candlelight. Julia felt a strange sense of peace settle over her. Eliza was free, reunited with her love, finally able to tell her story. The mirror, once a prison, was now a symbol of their enduring love. Exhausted but strangely exhilarated, Julia blew out the candles and went to bed. That night, for the first time since she brought the mirror home, she slept soundly. Section 9, Silence falls. The silence in the days that followed was almost deafening. No more whispers, no more chilling visions. The mirror no longer held any fear for her. It was simply a beautiful antique, a reminder of a sad story and a love that transcended time. Julia kept the mirror. She felt a strange connection to it, to Eliza and her lost love. She often found herself lost in thought, gazing at her reflection, imagining Eliza's face superimposed on her own. The experience had changed her. It opened her eyes to the unseen world, to the stories whispered on the wind, hidden in plain sight. She learned that some bonds, like the love that bound Eliza and her lover, could never truly be broken. Section 10, a reminder of the past. Years passed. The story of Eliza Walker and her silver mirror became a local legend, passed down through generations. The antique shop, once a place of mystery, was now a popular stop for tourists eager to catch a glimpse of the legendary mirror. Julia eventually moved on, her life taking her to different places. But she never forgot the mirror or the ghostly encounter that changed her life. It served as a constant reminder that sometimes the past wasn't truly gone. It lived on, whispering its secrets to those who dared to listen, and sometimes all it took was a single act of courage, of compassion, to set those secrets free.